Pontiac has been dead for 18 years. General Motors killed it in 2010 quietly, without ceremony, without a final car worthy of the name. No farewell tour, no last statement. Just silence where there used to be thunder. And for 18 years, the people who loved what Pontiac meant, who understood that excitement was not a marketing slogan, but an engineering philosophy, have been waiting for someone to fix that mistake. Here at Premium Automotive Reviews, where we measure cars not by what they cost but by what they mean, we have covered a lot of revivals. Most of them disappoint. This one does not. This is the 2027 Pontiac GTO. And before we go any further, there is one decision buried in this car's chassis architecture. A choice about how power connects to the road, that the engineers fought about internally for over a year. And that will define how this car is remembered. We will get there. But first, stand in front of it and let it register. The color alone is a statement. This burnished copper bronze, deep, warm, almost molten in direct sunlight, is not the kind of finish you choose when you want to blend in. It is the kind of finish you choose when you have decided that subtlety is someone else's problem. The GTO's body proportions are immediately, unmistakably correct. Long hood, short rear deck, wide stance. The fastback roofline sweeps back with a single continuous arc that references the 1969 original without copying it. This is a car that remembers where it came from without being trapped there. The twin circular LED headlights, set within that wide split grille carrying the Pontiac Arrowhead badge, are the single most important design decision on the entire car. Those round headlights are the GTO's eyes across every generation it has ever existed. They are here because they belong here. Because some things are simply correct. The carbon fiber splitter at the front reaches forward aggressively, and the side sills carry additional carbon aero elements that trace the body's lower edge all the way to the rear diffuser. That diffuser is substantial, deeply channeled carbon fiber framing 4 titanium-tipped exhaust outlets that catch afternoon light with a blue-gold warmth that makes you want to stand behind this car for longer than is reasonable. The rose-gold forged wheels, an intricate multi-spoke design that matches the car's copper body tone with an intentionality that reads as obsessive, fill the arches completely. This is a car designed by people who cared about every angle, every detail, every surface, in a way that you simply feel before you can explain. Open the door. It swings wide with a satisfying mechanical weight, and the moment you drop into the driver's seat, you understand the interior philosophy immediately. Cognac brown leather, diamond. Quilted across the seats and door cards, covers almost every surface, warm and slightly aromatic. The scent of fresh leather and carbon fiber mingling in a way that is immediately intoxicating. The steering wheel is flat-bottomed, leather-wrapped, the Pontiac Arrowhead at center, finished in copper-toned metal that ties the exterior color into the cabin without being obvious about it. Directly ahead, a fully digital instrument cluster displays the GTO lettering at startup before resolving into a tachometer that dominates the display in track mode. Red, large, impossible to ignore. The central touchscreen handles everything from navigation to drive mode selection to performance data with a clarity and responsiveness that feels genuinely modern without feeling clinical. The Pontiac lettering is embossed across the upper dashboard in a font that is confident rather than decorative. Ambient lighting traces the dashboard edges in a warm amber that shifts to deep red when sport mode is engaged. This cabin is not luxurious in the traditional sense. It is purposeful, driver-focused, emotionally charged in a way that makes you want to drive before you have even started the engine. Now, the engineering decision. Pontiac's development team, working under a revival mandate that required this car to carry the GTO name with genuine conviction, debated for 14 months whether the 2027 GTO should be rear-wheel drive only or carry a switchable all-wheel drive system. The purest argument was straightforward. The GTO has always been rear-wheel drive, and any deviation from that is a compromise of identity. The performance argument was equally valid. A car producing the power this GTO targets needs all-season confidence to be genuinely usable as a daily performance machine. The decision they landed on is rear-wheel drive as standard, with no all-wheel drive option at launch. It is a philosophical commitment as much as an engineering one. Whether that was the right call depends on where you live and how you plan to use the car. In purely dynamic terms, behind the wheel, it feels exactly correct. The powertrain is a supercharged 6.2-liter V8, internally projected to produce approximately 810 horsepower and 740 pound-feet of torque, driving the rear wheels through a close-ratio 8-speed automatic with full manual paddle override. The supercharger is belt-driven, sitting atop the engine with the aggressive functionality of something that exists entirely for one reason. There is no hybrid assistance, no electric torque fill. Just displacement, forced induction, and the willingness to use both without apology. Press the starter and the GTO announces itself. Not politely. The V8 fires with a crack that reverberates off surrounding surfaces and settles, within 2 seconds, into an idle that pulses with low, rolling authority. The supercharger whine is present immediately, a mechanical overtone beneath the exhaust note that gives the idle a layered, complex character. This engine does not sit quietly. It breathes, it shifts, it communicates that it is ready, that it has been ready, that it has been waiting. In comfort mode, pulling away from a standstill, the GTO is composed and manageable. The 8-speed unit moves smoothly, the throttle response is linear, and the exhaust note drops to a civilized burble that is audible but not antisocial. The adaptive suspension, calibrated across 3 distinct modes, keeps the body controlled without transmitting harshness. This car can be driven daily without drama. That is a genuine achievement at this power level. Switch to sport. The exhaust valves open fully, the dampers tighten. The throttle mapping sharpens so dramatically it feels like a different engine. And then open the throttle on a clear road, and the supercharged V8 does something that no specification sheet can prepare you for. It pulls with a violence that compresses the world to a single point directly ahead. The sound builds from that deep burble into a full, layered, muscular roar that rises through the rev range with increasing intensity, the supercharger screaming above the exhaust note in a harmony that is deeply, uniquely American. Each paddle upshift cracks through the cabin like a gunshot. At high RPM, with the exhaust fully open, this car sounds like something that should not be street legal, and the fact that it is makes every moment behind the throttle feel like a privilege. Delo to 60 is internally estimated at 3.1 seconds. That number is almost irrelevant. The sensation of that acceleration, the way the rear tires load up and the car squats and then launches with a muscular resolve, is what stays with you for days afterward. The steering, a hydraulically assisted rack calibrated for genuine feel rather than electronic filtration, communicates road texture and front axle loading with a directness that is increasingly rare. Trail brake into a corner, and the chassis communicates its balance point with an honesty that rewards the driver who pays attention. The brakes, large drilled rotors with Pontiac branded calipers, are immediate, progressive, and confidence-inspiring in a way that matches the engine's capability rather than simply existing alongside it. There is a limitation worth discussing: the GTO's wide body and low ride height, essential to its visual and dynamic character, create genuine challenges in urban environments. Ground clearance over speed bumps requires attention. The rear visibility, through that tight fastback window, demands adjustment. These are the costs of the proportions, and they are worth paying. But they are real. Pricing is internally estimated at approximately $125,000 in standard configuration, with fully specified examples reaching $145,000. In a market where that money buys German performance sedans built to impress in airport lounges, the GTO offers something entirely different. A car with a soul, a history, a sound, and a driving character that cannot be engineered by committee or manufactured by heritage alone. What you are paying for is the resurrection of something that genuinely mattered. Something that was taken away before it was finished. The 2027 Pontiac GTO occupies a position in the automotive landscape that no other car currently holds. It is not a luxury performance coupe. It is not a track-focused supercar. It is an American muscle icon, rebuilt with modern engineering and no dilution of purpose. And there is absolutely nothing else like it at any price. This car was built for the person who remembers exactly where they were when they first heard a GTO at full throttle, or the person who is young enough to be experiencing that feeling for the first time and old enough to understand that it means something. Someone who believes that the act of driving a car with genuine power and genuine character is not an indulgence but a practice. a way of being present in the world that cannot be replicated by anything else. Take this car down an empty Texas highway at night, with the exhaust in its most open setting and the city lights 30 miles behind you. That is where it is spiritually at home. That is the environment it was designed for in the most honest sense. Wide open, unobstructed, the V8 breathing freely, the copper bodywork reflecting nothing but dark sky and moving asphalt. Before we close, a question we want you to answer in the comments, and we want the real debate. Should the GTO have been offered with all-wheel drive to make it more accessible and capable in all conditions? Or does rear-wheel drive only preserve the muscle car identity that makes it worth reviving in the first place? Both positions are completely defensible. Tell us where you stand, and subscribe if you believe that some nameplates are worth fighting to bring back. The 2027 Pontiac GTO is not a revival of a car. It is the return of a feeling that an entire generation of drivers was told they would never get to have again.